Hello and welcome to this OpenTX quick tip. This is a quick tip about how you can get your radio to give you a little checklist when it starts up. And it's really a result of all of those people who got in touch and went, what's that about? Because I did a video a little while ago just talking around some of the things that you can do with some of the warnings in particular. So things like the SD card warning and also the switch warning that I did last time. But one of the things I glossed over but didn't actually talk about is this ability to have a checklist shown. So I've just created a file here. So for this demonstration, it's telling me I need to check for new battery, check my prop nuts are tight, check my goggles are recording, check I've got a GPS lock, and check my video power settings are appropriate. Now the cool thing is that I can't get rid of this little list, and if it was longer I could scroll through it with any of the switches or by pressing anything until I press exit, and then I can come out of it. Now the cool thing is that you can actually have anything come up in that screen. Now it's obviously been originally designed as a checklist, but I find it really useful if there's something you have to remember. So it might be a model that has a very specific couple of things that you need to check, or it might be one that has a little bit of a finicky way of doing something. It's great to put the note in here, because if you haven't flown it all winter and then you come to spring and you unpack it and you have a go, you might have forgot that little wrinkle that you need to do in order for it to fly really well. Popping it in a little text file means when you fire it up on the radio, select that model, it's going to appear. So to set this up and have that appear at the beginning, all you have to do is go into the menu, click page and scroll all the way down. And for those of you that watch the channel, you'll notice that we've already talked about things like the switch warning, and we've talked about the throttle warning, and this is the checklist. Now the checklist here, all it's going to do is look for a TXT or text file with exactly the same name as the model name that's actually here in the radio. So if you change the model name here on the radio and it no longer matches the text file, it won't display it, but so it has to be exactly the same. But by turning on that little checklist, it's going to display the contents of the text file that has the same name as the model. So let's turn this radio off, and we could just plug this radio into the computer by holding the switches in the middle position and powering it up and plugging a USB cable in the back. But these radios are great because you can just access the SD card. So let's pull that out, let's pop that into the computer, and let me show you how to put the details into a little text file so that when the radio starts up next time, you get those little warning messages or reminders of things that you need to check for that particular model. So this detail isn't new, it's been in the OpenTX releases for a very long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new text file, and we're going to give it the same name as the model that we've just looked at. So that's test. I also like to keep the capitalization the same. If we then double click and open that file, then I'm just going to write in here the things that I want the radio to display when it starts up. So that could be checks, reminders, it could be things to consider, it could be notes, it could be anything in here at all. So I'm going to talk about checking I've got a new battery installed, so I'm not taking off with an empty battery, checking the prop nuts are tight, maybe checking that my goggles are recording. I've done that a few times where I've taken off and then forgot that I wasn't recording the flight and lost my DVR footage. Also maybe checking for a GPS lock if I'm using something like iNav or Odoo Pilot. And lastly, let's check the video transmitter power as well as a little reminder. So now we've done that, let's save it, and now we can actually copy it onto the SD card in the radio. Now again, I've just popped the SD card into a reader here. We could have connected it via the USB cable, but all I need to do is on that SD card is double click and open the models folder, and in that models folder I just need to copy and paste this new text file. And again, I've called it test because it's the same name as the model that it goes along with. So be careful, if you rename a model in the radio, then you'd lose the checklist file. Then that's bit done. So back to the desk. So now we've got that on the SD card, we can pop that straight back in. Oops, wrong way around. There we go. And then when we power it up, it's going to find that text file and it's going to display it here so that I can make sure that everything's all tickety-boo. Just be careful it doesn't wrap around. So when you've actually created the text, if it's longer than, I think it's about 35 characters, so you can see that check for new battery is about as wide as it's going to be. I would automatically in your text file just do a carriage return and go in each new line if you want lots of additional content. But this is unbelievably handy if you have lots of models and you fly lots of different ones. It might be that you have to remind yourself that one of the models on a multi-model internal combustion setup is a little bit lean and maybe needs a little bit of something to start up properly. You can pop it on the radio and then you'll never have to carry around a little book to remind yourself of what you need to check every time you fly. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.